We have an image, right? Blogging uses imagery and images, perception, okay? We have language, speech. All of these things are things blogging utilizes, okay? That Word document I wrote 10 years ago, it had none of that. It had no context. It had no images. There was no way of evaluating my perception. The emails I got back from my friends were like, what is happening, Max? Stop emailing the provost, okay? But my blogs, no, this is different. This is a way for people with severe and chronic mental illness to really look at what's happening with themselves and check themselves. I email my blogs to my friends every day. Message. Send them out. Max. Okay, Max. We'll see about that. Check it out. So before we get into what my friends are saying and what people around me are saying, this modality is self-CBT. Think about it. CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Our thoughts, our feelings, right? And how they shape our behaviors. In blogging, I talk about my thoughts all the time. And I talk about my behaviors. I talk about how I want them to change. And that triangle, right? The CBT triangle, thoughts, behaviors, feelings. Oh man, I'm triangulating all over the internet. And loving every minute of it. It's dynamic. It's evolving. That document I wrote, it didn't change in 10 years. Sure, I went back and, looked at it, read it to people, but it didn't change. It didn't evolve. It can't evolve. It's a static Word document. Blogs evolve, right? Mental health affairs, at least, my own blog evolved. It became something bigger than it once was. More dynamic, more integrated. I'm connecting with other blogs. Blogs are connecting with me. It's a way for people to check their thoughts and see if they're still on the same page, at least. They don't have to be perfect, because what's perfect, what's normal, but at least maybe, is it okay enough where we're still on the same page and you get what I'm saying? Because if you don't get what I'm saying, what's the point? And if you're totally missing my message, am I okay? It's accessible, right? Anybody can look at my blog that has the internet. I know there are some countries right now struggling with power, electricity, all of these things. But here, at least in this country, and the one I just came from, just about all of us can use this mechanism, okay? This mechanism to access their mental health, check in with themselves. Transcultural. What do I mean by that? I mean that anybody can write for my blog. Mental health. Mental health is transcultural. Let's just leave it at that. Transnational. What better representative of me being here speaking to you today about this than transnational, right? I mean, I can take this anywhere. I can cross any boundary, any border, and people will know what I'm talking about. The list goes on and on. So, application and practice, okay? It's time-stamped. When you send messages out, depending on what carrier you have, what you're doing, everything's time-stamped. 4 a.m., uh-oh, what am I doing up at 4 a.m.? That's a question my friends might ask me. Max, what were you doing up blogging at 4 a.m.? What were you thinking about? What triggered you? Why are you up that late? You usually go to bed at 9. What happened that night, Max? Right? Ever just stay up and you're not feeling well, or you just can't stop the thoughts? I know I can't stop the thoughts sometimes. 4 a.m., Right there, it's timestamp. So we have a frequency. Because once I start sending multiple messages out, like a friend here did, emails, right, like I did 10 years ago, we can start looking at the frequency of things. And as therapists, psychiatrists, counselors, we all have to evaluate the frequency and intensity of our symptoms, don't we? That's how things are measurable. That's how things are evidence-based, right? There it is. I found it. It's a frequency. The message, aim, and intent. The goal, right? That was an interview that, well, I interviewed myself, I'll be honest with you. But why did I do that? Why did I do that? That's something that my friends can ask me, right? Family members, my support system here, my parents, by the way. That's something people could say, Max, why are you interviewing yourself at 4 a.m.? Because there was a problem that night, that's why. A mental health problem. Now, it's discoverable. Right? Those of us ever done an incident